Have you ever like poured your heart and soul into showing someone you care?
Yeah.
But it's like they totally missed the point.
Yeah.
Like you thought you were being so obvious,
Totally.
but they're just not getting it. It's so frustrating.
It really is.
We're going to dive deep today into something that can really help explain those mismatches.
Okay.
It's called love languages.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of that.
It's this framework that a guy named Dr. Gary Chapman came up with to help us see how we each experience and express love in totally unique ways.
So it's like we all have our own dialect
Exactly.
when it comes to love.
And this deep dive is especially tailored for you,
Okay, cool.
based on all the awesome material you sent our way.
Fantastic.
We're not just going to skim the surface here.
No way.
We're going to get into the nitty-gritty of how you can really grasp these concepts.
Yeah.
And more importantly, how you can explain your own love language to others,
Okay.
especially when you're communicating in English.
I love.
So think of this as your secret weapon for building rock-solid connections.
Ooh, I like that.
Our mission today is to crack open your sources and unearth the most valuable gems about understanding those 5 love languages
Okay.
and how to communicate yours in a way that truly resonates.
Yeah.
So let's do a quick rundown of those 5 love languages just to set the stage.
Right.
First up, we've got words of affirmation.
Oh, yeah.
This is all about feeling loved through spoken or written expressions of appreciation.
Like compliments
Yeah, exactly.
and encouragement.
Totally.
Love notes, maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else?
Then there's acts of service.
Ah, yes.
This is where actions speak louder than words.
It's about doing things to help lighten someone's load.
Exactly.
Like doing the dishes or running errands.
Yeah, those little acts of service that say, I care.
Okay, I get it.
Next, we have receiving gifts.
Oh, this one's fun.
For some people, this is huge.
It's all about the thought behind the gift,
Right.
not necessarily the price tag.
It's that feeling of being remembered and cherished.
Okay.
Then we have quality time.
This one's important to me.
Me too.
It's about giving someone your undivided attention,
Right.
being fully present with them.
Whether it's going for a walk
Yeah.
or just chilling and talking.
It's about shared experiences.
Exactly.
Okay.
What's the last one?
Last but not least, we have physical touch.
The cuddlers.
This can range from hugs and kisses to holding hands.
Yeah.
Or even just a pat on the back.
It's about that physical connection.
Exactly.
Okay, so we've got our 5 love languages.
We do.
But why is it so important to know them?
Well, you sent us some really fascinating material.
I did.
And it really highlights why understanding and expressing your love language is crucial.
Okay, tell me more.
It's not just a fun fact about yourself.
No.
It's a game changer for your relationships.
How so?
For starters, your sources emphasize how much it improves communication. When you can tell someone exactly what makes you feel loved,
Yeah.
you're basically handing them a cheat sheet. Oh, I see.
They're giving them the key to your heart.
I like that analogy.
And there was this really interesting study mentioned in one of the articles.
Oh, what did it say?
It found that couples who talk about their love languages
Okay.
actually feel way more emotionally connected.
Really?
Yeah, so it's not just theory.
No.
It has real-world impact.
Wow, that's pretty powerful.
And here's another cool thing.
What's that?
The process of figuring out and explaining your love language actually makes you more self-aware.
Interesting.
You have to really dig deep
Yeah.
and understand what truly moves you emotionally.
Makes sense.
Plus, in our globalized world,
Yeah.
being able to talk about these things in English can be super valuable for navigating relationships across cultures.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially when you're dealing with different cultural norms around affection.
Exactly.
It's like a universal language of connection.
I love that.
Yeah.
So it's like we're giving you the tools to unlock a secret code to deeper connection. We're going to show you how to reflect on your experiences,
Okay.
build the English vocabulary you need, craft your own personal love language story,
Cool.
and master some practical communication strategies.
This is gonna be good.
So let's jump right in.
Let's do it.
First things first, we got to start with self-reflection.
Right.
Your sources really emphasize this.
They do.
You can't explain your love language
No.
if you don't know what it is yourself.
Makes sense.
And it's not always obvious.
No.
So you got to get introspective.
Okay.
Think back to times when you felt truly loved and appreciated. What exactly what's happening in those moments.
Yeah, what was it that made you feel so good?
Was it something someone said, or was it a gift they gave you?
Okay.
Was it quality time spent together?
Yeah.
Were they showering you with words of affirmation?
Okay.
Or was it a physical expression of affection? It's like you're an archaeologist of your own emotions,
I likes that.
digging up clues from your past.
To uncover your love language.
Exactly.
Cool.
And there's this interesting point in your notes.
What is it?
Sometimes the way we naturally give love
Yeah.
can be a big hint about how we like to receive it.
Oh, that's interesting.
So if you find yourself always doing acts of service for others, maybe that's a sign that acts of service are important to you too.
It's like your default mode of showing love.
Exactly.
I see.
Your sources encourage you to really dissect those key moments.
Okay.
What was it about that specific action
Yeah.
or word or gesture that made you feel so loved?
What was the underlying message you got from it?
Understanding that why
Mm-hmm.
is super important for pinpointing your primary love language.
Right.
It's not enough to just say, I like getting gifts.
Right.
You got to know why that makes you feel loved.
Okay.
Is it because it makes you feel thought of? Or is it the tangible expression of their care?
Yeah.
Or something else entirely?
It's about digging deeper.
Exactly.
Got it.
And once you started to see those patterns,
Yeah.
your materials suggest thinking about your communication goals.
Oh, that's a good point.
It's not just about announcing your love language.
No.
It's about what you want to achieve
Right.
by sharing this understanding.
Makes sense.
So what's the desired outcome of this conversation?
Yeah. Are you hoping to help your partner show their love more effectively?
Exactly.
Or are you trying to address those feelings of being unappreciated?
Right.
Having clear goals in mind
Yeah,
will make your communication more focused.
absolutely.
You want to express your needs clearly and constructively. It's about fostering mutual understanding,
Right.
not making demands.
It should be a collaborative dialogue
Exactly.
where both people feel safe and encouraged
Yeah,
to share openly.
I love that.
All right, let's get practical,
Okay.
especially when it comes to communicating this in English.
Yes, let's talk vocabulary.
Your sources have some excellent tips for building your love language lexicon.
Awesome. Tell me more.
It's about having more than just the basic names of the 5 love languages.
Right.
It's about having a richer set of words to really express those nuances.
Okay.
So for words of affirmation,
Yeah.
your materials suggest using words like uplifting, encouraging, heartfelt,
I like that.
and sincere.
These words really convey the power of verbal appreciation.
Exactly.
Okay, what about acts of service?
For that one, you could use words like thoughtful, considerate,
Okay.
supportive,
Okay.
caring.
To highlight the intention behind those actions.
Exactly.
Cool.
When it comes to receiving gifts, words like meaningful,
Okay.
symbolic,
Yeah.
personalized, and memorable.
These emphasize that it's the thought that counts.
Absolutely.
Okay, what about quality time?
For that one, the sources recommend using words like engaging, undivided,
Okay.
meaningful,
Yeah.
and uninterrupted.
These really capture the importance of being present.
Exactly.
Okay, and last but not least, physical touch.
What words would we use for that one?
Words like comforting,
Yeah.
warm,
Okay.
affectionate,
Yeah.
and gentle.
These convey the essence of physical affection.
Exactly.
It's amazing how specific words can really paint a vivid picture
Right.
of what each love language means to you.
It's like you're giving them a high-definition image
I love that analogy.
instead of a blurry one.
Makes sense.
Beyond those descriptive words,
Yeah.
your sources also mention some useful phrases
Okay.
and sentence structures that you can use when explaining your love language in English.
This is helpful.
So, for example, when talking about acts of service, you could say something like,
Okay.
"What really makes me feel loved is when you help me with,"
Okay.
and then fill in the blank.
I see.
Or you could say, "For me, love in action looks like you taking the initiative to,"
Got it.
and again, fill in the blank with specific examples.
That's a good way to be clear and direct.
Exactly.
What about for words of affirmation?
You could say something like, "Okay."
I feel most appreciated when I hear words like, or it means a lot to me when you tell me,
Yeah.
and then share those specific phrases.
These sentence starters are so helpful.
They really are.
Okay, so we've done the self-reflection.
We have.
We've thought about our goals, and we're building our vocabulary.
Right.
Now,
Now it's time to weave it all together.
okay.
Your sources talk about structuring your love language narrative.
Interesting.
It's like creating a compelling story
I like that.
that clearly communicates your needs.
Makes sense.
So your sources suggest starting by stating the concept of love languages
Okay.
and then identifying which one is your primary one.
Got it.
Then in the main part of your narrative,
Yeah.
you can dive deeper into what that love language means to you
Mm-hmm.
and share specific examples or anecdotes that illustrate it.
Those personal stories are so powerful.
They really are.
It's one thing to say my love language is quality time,
Right.
but it's way more impactful to share a memory of a time when someone gave you their undivided attention
Yeah.
and how much that meant to you.
Those stories make your explanation relatable and emotionally resonant.
Totally. They help the other person really understand.
Exactly.
So when you're crafting your narrative,
Yeah.
think of it like telling a story.
Okay.
Start by introducing your love language and
Yeah.
why it's important to you.
Right.
Then provide those vivid examples
Yeah.
using transition words to create a smooth flow.
Okay.
And finally conclude with a reflective summary,
Mm-hmm.
reiterating what understanding and expressing your love language means for your relationships.
I love that.
One of your sources also stressed being concise
Okay.
while still providing enough detail.
Right.
Focus on the most telling examples
Yeah.
and use clear, straightforward language.
Got it.
So we've covered the what and the why.
We have
Now let's talk about the how.
the practical strategies.
Oh, yes.
For actually explaining your love language in English.
What are some key techniques?
Well, according to your materials,
Yeah.
one of the most effective strategies is using I statements.
Ah, yes. The power of I statements.
Instead of saying, "You never spend enough time with me,"
Right.
try framing it from your perspective.
Okay.
You could say, "I feel most loved and connected when we have dedicated, uninterrupted time together."
I see.
This approach avoids blaming,
Yeah.
and it keeps the conversation constructive. And remember those personal anecdotes we talked about?
Yeah.
Sharing those real-life examples makes your explanation way more tangible
Right.
and helps the other person empathize with your feelings.
It shifts the dynamic
It does.
from making demands
Yeah.
to sharing your experience,
Exactly.
which is much more effective.
Absolutely.
And remember, communication is a two-way street.
It is.
Active listening is just as important.
Right.
Your sources highlight the importance of asking open-ended questions
Okay.
to encourage your partner to share their perspective too.
Like what?
You could ask, how do you typically feel most loved? Yeah. Or what are some things that make you feel appreciated? Right. And then really listen to their answers, reflecting back what they say. Yeah. Shows that you're truly engaged. Absolutely. And that fosters a more supportive dialogue.
What about when disagreements or misunderstandings come up?
Oh, that's a good point. These conversations aren't always easy.
They're not.
What do the sources say about that?
They advise approaching those conversations with respect and empathy.
Okay.
Even if you have different viewpoints,
Yeah.
acknowledge their feelings without dismissing your own.
Right.
And reiterate your intentions.
Okay.
Emphasize that your goal is to understand each other better
Yeah.
and strengthen your connection.
Not to control them.
Exactly.
And it's important to remember that understanding each other's love languages is an ongoing process.
It takes time
It does.
and patience.
And open communication.
Absolutely.
Your sources also point towards continued learning. They mention resources like Dr. Chapman's books, online communities, and even language learning tools
Wow.
that can help you better articulate your needs.
And understand others.
Exactly.
It's a journey of continuous growth.
I love that.
So let's wrap up.
Okay.
What are the key takeaways for our listener?
First, remember those 5 love languages.
Okay.
Words of affirmation,
Yeah.
acts of service,
Yeah.
receiving gifts,
Right.
quality time,
Okay.
and physical touch.
Got it.
Second, take some time for self-reflection to figure out your own primary love language
Okay.
by thinking about your past experiences and emotional responses.
That's key.
Third, prepare for those important conversations
Right.
by setting clear goals
Mm-hmm.
and even practicing some key phrases in English.
That's a great tip.
And don't forget the power of building a nuanced vocabulary.
Absolutely.
Words like uplifting, thoughtful, and undivided
Yeah.
can make your explanations so much clearer.
They really can.
And during those conversations, remember to use I statements
Right.
and share personal anecdotes.
To communicate your needs and feelings without blaming.
Exactly.
And above all, prioritize active listening
Yeah.
and asking open-ended questions. to make it a genuine two-way dialogue.
Well said.
So here's final thought for you.
Okay.
We've talked about how love is expressed and received so differently across cultures and individuals. How do you think understanding these love languages could not only enrich your romantic relationships, but also your friendships, your family connections, and even your interactions in your wider community?
That's something to ponder.
It is.
It's like a ripple effect.
Exactly, spreading outward.
Keep reflecting on your experiences and see how you can apply these insights in all areas of your life.
I will.
This is a journey of discovery.
It is.
And we're here to support you every step of the way.
Awesome.